Moritz, thanks for coming, and this is your first time at AI Plumbers, right?
I mean, yeah, it's the first time. I was not there at the first edition, but watched all the talks and it was great. And also today was also great. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to be here.
So what's your impression? What's your kind of like highlight, low light from the in-person event compared to just watching the talks?
I mean, it is a special energy. It's like hacker culture. It's like freedom. It's like the name says, AI plumber, like low-level stuff and engineering. So yeah, it's great.
Will you come again if it happens?
Yeah, definitely, of course.
That's what we want to hear. But let's actually switch gears a little bit because I was super impressed by your talk. But before I ask you a few questions, maybe you can introduce yourself and your background so that your sort of subject of your talk will become a little bit easier to understand for viewers.
My life is a little bit weird. So after high school, I did a machine learning startup with like style transfer before diffusion models were a thing. And then I moved to Munich, and now I'm still studying computer science at Technical University Munich. Hopefully I will finish in a few months. And on the side, I'm doing lots of side projects. And currently, I'm doing lots of Tenstoren side projects. And then January last year, I joined the Tenstoren community and the Discord when it was just small. And I have seen the growth of the community and wrote a paper about the architecture with like flash attention. And now my big project is implementing AlphaFold 3 on Tenstoren hardware, and the project is called TT Bolts. And it's going well. I had the idea in November last year. And then in March this year, I had the first working prototype. Then at Tenstoren Dev Day in San Francisco, we released it. Since then, we were able to triple the performance. And now the goal is, of course, to be faster than NVIDIA cards and get like Tenstoren cards into biotech and, free biotech from a monopoly and like proprietary software, complex hardware. So yeah, that's the goal.
I absolutely love it. And what I also love about it is a lot of attention is on LLMs and, generative AI in, let's say in, image generation and whatnot. But the subject that you picked is very much outside of that usual circle. That's actually why it's so unique to me. And I think, we need to see more projects like that, taking sort of machine learning to scientific, realm. Have you seen anything out like similar to what you're doing, more like scientific kind of uses of, generative AI, so to speak?
I mean, there are also cool papers, especially from Nick Brown from the University of Edinburgh, that's more like HPC and fast Fourier transforms and this kind of stuff. But it was on purpose that I wanted to do something different. So after I wrote the paper, I was thinking about the next project. And, many people are working on diffusion models and large language models. I want to do something different. And actually, I think 3 days or 4 days before that, this Bolts project from those brilliant guys at MIT, which builds on top of AlphaFold, was released. And then I realized that AlphaFold is basically just a diffusion model but most of the computational complexity is in the transformer. And then I could see that it fits really well to the architecture and just started programming it. And then the first 2 months were emotionally a little bit rough because you are programming all the time and you don't know if it will work in the end. And then the first time seeing like a protein perfectly folded and knowing that it was like computed on Tenstoren hardware and that it would previously take years to do that, and you see it running on the hardware, that was an amazing moment. And then of course like optimizing the stuff. But yeah, the thing about like machine learning is that all those models converge. Even though AlphaFold is pretty complex, it's still a diffusion model with a transformer conditioning. So it's not so outside of the box as you might think.
Exactly. And speaking of hardware, what was your experience? And actually, even maybe taking a step back, why did you pick Tenstoren? And once you did, what was your experience like? What did you like? What did you not like about, just working with a piece of hardware like that?
I mean, so I contacted them really early when there was not even a buy it now button. I just sent them an email, and weirdly enough, Eric Duffy from Tenstoren just answered, even though I'm just a student, I'm a nobody, but he cared. And yeah, the thing is like the data flow architecture just makes sense from a theoretical point of view with like data locality and stuff. And that's also what's taught at universities in advanced computer architecture classes. And then there was suddenly a cool commercial offering, and also, of course, this hacker culture at Tenstoren, and that everything is open source. That really resonated with me, but because I'm a hacker by heart. And then there is a buy it now button. It's not like the other chip companies who do like big deals with enterprises. You can just buy it, you own it, you can change everything. And then also complex models like AlphaFold just work. So yeah, that got me hooked. And then also like what keeps you doing this work for more than a year is basically the community and all the support, like all the friends you make. And that's also a big part of it.
And the community is mostly on Discord?
Yeah, the Discord grew like crazy from like 50 people or 100 people to 3,000. But then at like Tenstoron Dev Day in San Francisco, we all got together. We were actually in the same hotel, so we had breakfast together and dinner and stuff. And also like I just in Hamburg, I've seen the community, and here are also familiar faces. So it's like it's more than just tokens per second, flops, hardware and stuff. It's also the whole community.
Interesting. So speaking of the community, what would be your advice or, call to action for anybody who is just, maybe a student like yourself, just kind of like learning general sort of computer science, who is trying to get into AI but doesn't really see how or what the place for that person to be in AI? What would you recommend a person like that to do?
I mean, sometimes also the word artificial intelligence, it sounds really complex, but actually it is not that complex. And you don't learn stuff by just watching videos and reading books. You have to get your hands dirty and you have to do stuff. And also AlphaFold, it's the whole repository is 10,000 lines of code, so it can be overwhelming. But then you profile it and you see that like all the runtime is just in a few modules, and you just have to rewrite those few modules on Tenstoron hardware, and then suddenly it's doable and you can make progress. So it's also like just divide and conquer. Don't have too large projects, like make it in digestible pieces and then work on those small pieces and just publish it. Even though it's not ready, just open source it, share it in the Discord community. Also, my code is not that good sometimes. There are many bugs. I just publish it and I never had a bad experience. There are sometimes people who just do a pull request and help you improve the code for free, and that's just amazing. So yeah, just get going.
That's amazing advice. And once you do all of that, come and present at the next iteration of AI Plumbers, because we're always looking for speakers like that. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming.
I have to thank you. It was a pleasure.